Sound check. Sound check. When I press that record button, I've got a fairly good idea what I'm going to do with that clip. I know why I'm here, I know what project I'm working on. When I press the shutter button for a still photograph, it's quite a different story. It's the beginning of a journey which can take years. Some of the stills I've shown on this channel I took 30-40 years ago. With that in mind, Happy New Year, even though for me it's September. I'd like to thank every subscriber, every viewer of my videos. It's an inspiration to me, makes me want to carry on. Welcome to 2022, my year in still photography. Now I've added something to the title of this video. That's the collective wisdom of others. Because I don't consider I'm all that wise in photography. I tend to repeat the wisdom of others and pass it off as my own, I suppose. So here's 3 bits of photographic wisdom that I've gleaned from others. Number 1, the best camera you can have is the one that's in your hand. Number 2, the best photographic accessory you can own is a good pair of shoes. And number 3, if you see that everyone else is photographing one particular thing, turn around, point your camera in the other direction. So this is 2022, my year in still photography. A few things are different this year. I won't be grouping them by month because simply I don't go out and do the same number of shots every month. Sometimes I have more opportunity or less opportunity. This year I'm working on a couple of projects to do with film photography, so I don't think they will make it into this particular collection. I've just noticed my shoes need replacing. Instead of grouping things strictly by month like you might in a calendar, I've decided to go for a seasonal influence. And as summer draws to a close here, I'm looking forward to my favourite seasons, autumn and winter. Now summer for me is a time of great desperation as a still photographer. I just can find no inspiration whatsoever. Now where I live in summer becomes very popular. The concrete coast from which I draw so much inspiration becomes very inaccessible. And the countryside I find becomes a little choked in its own growth. Winter feels a lot cleaner, a lot fresher. So I'm going to start with the hardest from the point of view of inspiration, and the first sequence will be summer 2022. Spring of 2022 for me was dominated by a road trip to Scotland and the Lake District. But as you will have seen from a recent series, I was also in the south of Wales. Now, spring for me isn't just about nature coming back to life after the winter break. It's also about rapidly changing light and conditions. So here's my spring collection. Some of those shots from the road trip in spring to Scotland and the Lake District you'll see again in the context in which they were taken. I'm hoping to run that series of films early in 2023. So that will follow season 2.2 of the Concrete Coast. It's rather pretty. Now my next seasonal selection will be autumn. And autumn of 2022 started in a rather strange way in the south of England. The preceding summer was very long, very hot, very dry, and that led to something which some describe as a false autumn. Now this false autumn started back in August 2022, and the real autumn carried on right through October towards November. So in the autumn sequence I'm about to bring you, there's a bit of an overlap between pictures taken in summer and those taken in autumn. And while you're watching that, I'll be doing something else. must be winter. I've gone for the flat cap option. I seem to do a lot of river and waterfall photography during the autumn. It wasn't intentional. I'm certainly not complaining. There's one particular waterfall that sticks in mind though. There was a photograph there with a huge splash of blue in it, which is the last colour you'd expect to see in the autumn in the Lake District. Just goes to show, if you don't go out there, you don't see it. That's probably as close to wisdom as you'll get from me, I think. Let's see if I can find some shelter and talk about the winter collection. Oh, that's better. Now, before I bring you the winter collection, I just want to return to the collective wisdom of others. First of all, after another year of still photography, I don't think I feel any wiser than I did last year. However, I've been through 2 pairs of walking shoes. All of the pictures you've seen through every season in this collection have been taken on anything from a mobile phone to a more top-end camera. If you see any stills from today's walk, they were taken on this second-hand small format camera. As for turning round and looking the other way, how about this? Maybe there's something in it. And so to my last set of photographs, winter. This will take in the first couple and the last month of 2022. Winter is of course the beginning and the end of another year. Right, while you're watching that, I'll be going down there, have a cup of tea in the van. Poignant walk away coming up. That was 2022, my year in still photography. I'm heading back to the spot where I introduced the film. It's many months later, looks very different and it feels very different. Now the images I brought you are not a portfolio, they're a collection of memories of the whole year. Now if I had to pick a favourite from those images, it would be pretty difficult. I think my favourite ones are the ones where I had an emotional connection with the landscape I was in. So I'm going to make one attempt at a little bit of wisdom of my own. So here goes. I think the technology will generally look after the picture. But as a photographer, I think you have to find some way to engage with the subject. Even if you don't like it, make a connection with it at some level. Come to this beach, of course, because it's beautiful. There is also an aspect of it I don't like very much. Curious, that wasn't there last time. Check. So the intro and the outro were both filmed here at Botany Bay on Kent's glorious concrete coast. Whilst autumn was brought to you from Wasdale Head in the Lake District. Spring was brought to you from a disused jetty in the Swale Estuary in Kent. And finally, Staple Tor on Dartmoor was an epic backdrop from which to introduce winter. Now before I sign off, a quick channel announcement. As I mentioned the false autumn thing a little earlier on, I'm going to bring you that film next, immediately after this one. And then season 2.2 of The Concrete Coast will resume in early January. Thanks once again to every viewer and subscriber, it does mean a lot to me. I have been your avuncular host. Thanks for watching.